Yeah, we should.
Just every time. Close the door.
I got it.
3, 2, 1, go.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy. I'm one half of the Brothers Murph. This is working. This is Metagame Minute. Metagame Minute is a weekly segment where Mike or I talk about anything we want to talk about in the gaming world today. Today I want to talk about two kinds of scoring that are very common in board games, and that is in-game scoring, where you score all your points during the game, and end-game scoring, where you score all your points at the very end of the game. And basically, which one do you prefer? If you had to choose one or the other from now until the end of time, which one would you choose? I think both of them have benefits. I think both of them are very nice, and both of them have different things. And a lot of times, of course, there is a mix. There's like a lot of in-game scoring, but there's some end-game scoring. But I'm mostly talking about games that are heavily weighted towards one or the other. The benefits to in-game scoring is you kind of always know where you stand. If the game ends because the 10th card was taken from over here, and that triggers the end of the game, and once that is done, you finish out that round, whoever has the most points wins. That is a very, very clear way to know where you stand in a game. If I am 10 points behind the person in first, and there are 2 of those cards left, I know I need to get ahead, because if the game ends while I'm ahead, I know I will win. Or vice versa, if you are ahead, you're like, I need to end the game now because I'm ahead. Mike is surging forward. Mary's surging forward. I need to make sure I end the game now to make sure that I win. Whereas end game scoring is nice because there is not always perfect information. You could be absolutely crushing it in terms of the in-game scoring, but there are all these secret objectives that this one person, Jill over here, has been grabbing all game, and then boom, the game ends, and she goes do, and she flies ahead. Now, I can understand why people wouldn't like one or the other, and especially the end game scoring, I feel like is more of a hard sell because of the fact that like a lot of people kind of like to know where they stand, because there have been times in my gaming history I've kind of talked about before where like I really thought I was winning. I really thought I was doing super, super good. And then at the end of the game, you kind of just get destroyed and you're like, I thought I was doing okay. And it's like one of those things where it's like, do you want to know that you're getting crushed the entire game with in-game scoring? Or do you want to think you're doing really good and then having that taken away from you in end-game scoring? And I don't really know. I think if I had to choose, I like games that have in-game scoring, an in-game scoring emphasis rather than an end-game scoring emphasis, because I do enjoy knowing where I am. I do enjoy knowing where I stand. The problem with in-game scoring is you might get people who, if they are way behind, they start losing interest. You know, if you are way, way, way behind, you know there's absolutely no way you're catching up to Mark over there. You're like, all right, well, I guess I'll just, whatever. You start losing interest, you start losing heart. What's the point of trying hard when you know there's no chance that you can come back and win? Whereas endgame scoring, really, you kind of are always in it, at least in your own head, in your dome. You're kind of like, well, I got this card and this card and this card. They're going to give me 20 points. That might be enough to get me into like a close second or third or first even. And so it can kind of be disheartening. But I think in the end, I would want to know where I stand rather than just guessing, because at least personally, again, like I said, I've said multiple times, I don't tend to get upset when I lose, but there are times when I think I'm doing really great and then it turns out I got absolutely demolished. That's one time where I can get a little hurt and my pride gets a little bit hurt because I thought one thing and it turns out it was the other. Whereas in-game scoring, you kind of always know where you are. So down in the comments below, let me know, what kind of games do you like? Do you like games with a heavy emphasis on in-game scoring or end-game scoring? Again, usually there's a mix of both, but which one do you like, and specifically why? Why do you like end-game scoring more than in-game scoring, or vice versa? Or do you just not have an opinion on it? That I think is also really, really cool. I ultimately like both fine. I just prefer in-game scoring because, again, I like to know where I stand. And while you're down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to share it around the interwebs. Etch it in stone, every single frame in a different stone, and leave it for the aliens to find once they have ended this simulation and killed us all. And on that note, make sure to subscribe. Until next time, whether you love in-game scoring or end-game scoring, keeping it simple, keeping it easy, remember, the more meta, the more beta.